On the news, Nigeria's inflation rate hits 29.90% in January 2024 amid high food prices. Federal government, state governors consider creation of state police to tackle insecurity. And 60 lawmakers propose transition to parliamentary system of government by 2031. Hello and welcome to News Now. I'm Sibisola Atiku. Nigeria's inflation rate for January 2024 has risen to 29.90%, marking a significant increase from the 28.92% recorded in the preceding month. The latest report by the National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) inflation report shows that on a month-on-month basis, the headline inflation rate for January 2024 ascended to 2.64%, outpacing the 2.29% observed in December 2023 by 0.35 percentage points. The NBS report says a significant surge in the food inflation rate for January 2024 reached a year-on-year high of 35.41%. This marks a substantial 11.10 percentage point increase from the 24.32% observed in January 2023, highlighting a pronounced rise in the cost of food items. On states profile analysis, the report shows that in January 2024, all items inflation rate on a year-on-year basis was highest in Kogi at 35.79%, followed by Oyo at 34.58% and Akwa Ibom at 33.16%. It, however, says the slowest rise in headline inflation on a year-on-year basis was recorded in Borno at 22.57%, followed by Taraba at 24.83% and Benue at 26.64%. The federal government, alongside state government of the 36 states, are considering the creation of state police. This is the outcome of an emergency meeting between President Bola Tinubu and state governors in Abuja on Thursday to address challenges of increase in food prices, economic hardship, and pockets of insecurity recorded nationwide. Addressing State House correspondents after the meeting, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, explained that the process is still in its infancy and would only take shape after more deliberations between stakeholders.
Mr. President and the state governors have also discussed the possibility of improving the numeric strength of forest rangers to train them so that they can keep our forest and our borders very safe. Now, there is also a discussion around the issue of state police. The federal government and the state governments are mulling the possibility of setting up state police. Of course, this is still going to be further discussed. A lot of work has to be done in that direction, but both the federal government and the state governments are agreeing to the necessity of having state police. Now, this is a significant shift, but like I said, more work needs to be done in that direction. A lot of meetings will have to happen between the federal government and the subnationals to see the modalities of achieving this.
Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, says the much-anticipated federal student loan scheme is set to be launched within the next 2 to 3 weeks. He gave the confirmation during a meeting with a delegation from the National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, led by its president, Lucky Emonefe, at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. He explained that final preparations were underway to ensure smooth launch and implementation of the policy.
The student loan that you spoke about, we need your support on that. It's perhaps when it is launched and after its success, will become perhaps one of the biggest legacies of this government. Mr. President is absolutely gone who about it, is absolutely determined that we see it through, and we see it through successfully. That was supposed to be launched in January, but it's anything worth doing is worth doing well. So it's better late than never.
We've assured them that government is looking into interventions that may lead to subsidizing foodstuff across campuses if we succeed at that at pursuing that endeavor.
The yearnings and the aspiration of Nigeria students, I came into to table it before Mr. President. Those issues of hike in school fees and various challenges, high cost of living by Nigeria students, what they are passing through. As a father who listens, I came to relate this thing to Mr. President. And Mr. President is accessible, he listened to us, and he said he promised us he's going to look into it, that he's going to include more youths in his government, that we are the future leaders. He specifically said that he wants the student loan to work so that those who don't have access to education, that education is a right.
Meanwhile, the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has expressed concern that the proposed education loan scheme will trap students in long-term debt. This statement was made after the National Executive Council meeting at the Niger Delta University, Wilberforce Island, Bayelsa State, where ASU acknowledged the failure of the Bola Tinubu-led administration to address the issues that led to the nationwide strike from February to October 2022. ASU criticized successive Nigerian governments for not honoring agreements with the union, leading to the frequent use of strike actions to fight for their right. Well, to discuss this further, Dr. Stephen Fatonji, a lecturer at the Department of Broadcasting, Lagos State University, joins me on the news. Thank you very much for joining me, Mr. Fatonji. Now, ASU has expressed concerns that the student loan scheme will keep students in permanent debt and starve public universities of funding. What is your opinion on this?
Yeah, thank you. Good evening to you. I do not think that concern is absolute. The student loan scheme is not may not necessarily keep the students in permanent debt crisis if it is properly implemented. Students that are able to access job opportunities, students that are able to establish their own businesses, tell me how the loan will keep them in debt. As a matter of fact, in my own opinion, I believe that the student loan scheme is a welcomed development. It will provide, opportunity for less privileged students to gain access to tertiary education. My only area of concern is the implementation procedure and how do we ensure that this thing is done with utmost transparency and accountability. So to me, I do not believe that it will keep a student in perpetual debt. It's a good one.
All right, now, what other measures do you think, aside the student loan, what other measures do you think could better address the issue of access to quality education in Nigeria?
Yeah, one of the measures to address access to quality education, besides the student loan, is the need to improve the economy. If our economy is good, there will be no need for any student to be talking about loan before he or she can go to higher institution. So the federal government should improve, the economy. The economy is we all know we don't even need to overflog this. As soon as that is okay, there are countries that from their undergraduates, in fact, from primary level to tertiary education, it's free. For an example is Sweden, because the economy is good. Besides that, what else? What other thing? I think universities also should think outside the box. The way universities, increase tuition fee, tax students, is on the high side if you consider the general rate of poverty in Nigeria. So we should think of other means of making money other than tuition, because at the end of the day, this whole thing goes down to the common man and they find it difficult to pay. So there are so many things university can do to improve their internally generated revenue, and that will lessen the burden on parents and students.
Hopefully that happens. Dr. Stephen Fatanji, Lecturer, Department of Broadcasting at the Lagos State University, thank you for lending your thoughts. Still on education, members of the House of Representatives have tasked federal and state governments on the need to increase the budgetary allocation for education for Nigerian children. The resolution was passed sequel to the adoption of a motion on the need to curb the number of out-of-school children, sponsored by Olami Juonlo Alao Akala. The lawmakers also urged the Ministry of Education to ensure the realization of free basic education for all Nigerian children with no hidden charges/fees.
The devil by issues such as low enrollment of children, particularly the girl child, low completion of basic education, shortage and poor quality infrastructure of schools, amongst others. Believe that education plays a crucial role in the breaking of cycle of poverty and promoting social and economic development. Also believe that to ensure the efficiency and production of children, as well as security for a better future of the Nigerian child, swift action need to be taken to address the education crisis.
I want to challenge them to really sit down with the management of UPEC. Let us even know this effort that we've put in over the years, what has been the result? Why do we still keep having these numbers going up by the day? The factors that we've talked about over the years, not having adequate budgetary provision, social factors, and what have you. Some of those things we've been talking about them. So it's been more plenty talks without movement.
Gombe is doing well. Also in education. Prof, you remember when we were in the committee? That was one of the states that we went and they were excellent in what they were putting together for basic education. We can achieve this. So that summit will be a robust platform to engage, to deliberate, and then come out with a resolution that might give birth to laws.
A bill seeking to introduce the parliamentary system of government to the country has passed the first reading at the House of Representatives. The bill, which is sponsored by 60 lawmakers, was introduced during the plenary on Thursday. Speaking to journalists after the plenary session, Abdul Samad Dasuki, who spoke on behalf of his colleagues, says the presidential system has denied the nation the opportunity of attaining its full potential, adding that the imperfections of the presidential system of government have become glaring to all. The lawmakers say they target 2031 as the year for the transition to the parliamentary system.
The collapse of the First Republic and the long stretch of the military rule culminated into the adoption of a new system of government, theoretically fashioned after the presidential system of United States, but in practice imbibed the utmost attributes of military rule. No wonder the Nigerian president appears to be one of the most powerful presidents in the world. Over the years, the imperfections of presidential system of government have become glaring to all. Despite several alterations to the Constitution to address the shortcomings of a system that has denied the nation the opportunity of attaining its full potentials. Among these imperfections are the high cost of governance, leaving fewer resources for crucial areas like infrastructure, education, and healthcare.
A less expensive parliamentary system of government. Now, we expect that the process may not necessarily terminate with the current administration. In actual fact, we expect that it will even go beyond 2027. But what is important is that we have set the ball rolling. And so it may go as far, the actual commencement may even be 2031.
At the first Lagos State Parking Authority Stakeholders Forum, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has clarified that the goal of the Parking Authority's launch in the state is to regulate careless parking and curb congestion in the state's roadways instead of persecuting anybody. The governor added that the launching of this agency is in the best interest of all Lagos residents as well as the state's development. Our correspondent Sydney Okafor has more details.
Over the past decade, workers and commuters in Lagos have gradually become accustomed to the inherent problems that come with inadequate parking facilities. Double parking and extortion like car parking fees are just a few of many routine practices for car owners across the city. Proposing a solution to this challenge, the Lagos governor says the state is a cosmopolitan state and it is necessary to regulate the parking of vehicles to decongest traffic.
When you live in a city well over 20 million people that has the largest vehicular density in the whole country, Lagos has 10 times more vehicular density than any part of the country, has 10 times traffic issues than any part of the country. We need to be nimble, we need to be creative, we need to be able to come up with a policy that both of us would see, both the public users and government can come together and engage and have a solution, and that's really why we're putting this together.
The agency is established to compete with other major cities globally by creating a strategic parking management system and reducing careless parking.
Parking has been a serious challenge in a rapidly growing city. We have insufficient parking spaces, resulting in congested streets, illegal parking, pollution, and endless frustration for residents and visitors alike. The authority, in partnership with Automata, over the past 2 years has worked aggressively to address this menace to society.
That there are over 30 million vehicles across Nigeria. 2 million of these are here in Lagos. About 18,000 vehicles are registered in Lagos State in January alone of 2024. All the aforementioned data goes further to justify the importance of regulating parking by providing a sustainable and efficient parking management system.
An official of the agency says a parking lot will be allocated for vehicles to ease the free flow of traffic within the state.
And you can only park within the allocated spaces that have been marked out on those roads. And any parking of those boxes that have been marked simply indicates that that person is going against the rules and the laws, and such there will be enforcement to ensure that such person is dealt with accordingly.
Being a modern state for other cities in the nation, the Lagos state government says it is committed to maintaining a seamless transportation system while maintaining zero tolerance policy for residents who disobey the laws and guidelines governing the state's transportation industry. Sydney Okafor, TV360, Lagos.
We'll go on a short break now, but still to come, Nigeria's Super Eagles move 14 places in FIFA rankings after impressive run at AFCON. Details when we return. Welcome back, and now a quick recap of our top stories. Nigeria's inflation rate for January 2024 has risen to 29.90% from 28.92% recorded, marking a significant increase from the 28.92% recorded in the preceding month. The latest report by the National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) inflation report shows that on a month-on-month basis, the headline inflation rate for January 2024 ascended to 2.64%, outpacing the 2.29% observed in December 2023 by 0.35 percentage points. The NBS reports a significant surge in the food inflation rate for January 2024, reaching a year-on-year high of 35.41%. This marks a substantial 11.10% point increase from 24.32% observed in January 2023, highlighting a pronounced rise in the cost of food items. We also told you that the federal government, alongside government of the 36 states, are considering the creation of state police. This is the outcome of an emergency meeting between the President Bola Tinubu and state governors in Abuja on Thursday to address challenges of increase in food prices, economic hardship, and pockets of insecurity recorded nationwide. Addressing State House correspondents after the meeting, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, explained that the process is still in its infancy and would only take shape after more deliberations between stakeholders. Missed any of our news bulletins? For more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV or AVO TV, or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store and Huawei App Gallery. On Facebook, we're TV360 Online. It's time for business news with Okweyemi Owosheni. Over to you, Okweyemi.
Thank you, Simisola. Hello and welcome to Business News. In a move aimed at enhancing operational efficiency and reducing cost, the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, NUPRC, is contemplating relocating some of its units to Lagos. A memo dated February 14, 2024, obtained by newsmen, outlined the Commission's intentions to explore this strategic shift. The memo, signed by Kelechi Onyekachi Ofeigbo on behalf of the Commission, cited several reasons for the proposed relocation. It emphasized the objective of improving organizational efficiency, driving industry growth, and managing office accommodation costs in Abuja. Still on business, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has flagged off the implementation of the Lagos Market Trader Money to support 15,000 market traders with a sum of 50,000 naira each. Sanwo-Olu said the initiative was conceptualized as a stopgap measure of the state government to empower small-scale traders in the food system by providing them financial support to expand their businesses, fostering economic growth and improving lives of many within the state. He added that the initiative will ensure sustainable livelihoods and facilitate business expansion for 15,000 traders who occupy a strategic position in the state economic pyramid and food distribution network.
This initiative was conceptualized as a stopgap measure of state government to empower small-scale traders in our food system by providing them with financial support to expand their businesses, thereby fostering economic growth and improving the lives of many within the state. This will ensure a sustainable livelihood and facilitate businesses for over 15,000 traders who occupy strategic positions in the state economic pyramid and for food distribution and network. Lagos State, which has a growing population, and the population is growing every day, has a food system transaction value of over 6 trillion annually, and in the process of establishing a dynamic food market system under the food system transformation agenda to promote the preservation, storage, transportation, and presentation of a wholesale food for the entire populace, with the aim of reducing food wastage, improve affordability, guarantee food safety, quality, and accessibility.
We'll go on a short break and be back with stock market reports. Nigeria's stock market sustained its gain on Thursday, defying the National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) report showing the January inflation rate reached a new high of 29.90% in January 2024, compared with 28.92% in December 2023. The market closed on green after rising by 0.58%, with the market cap at 56.97 trillion naira. Now, in the aggregate, 124 NGX-listed equities participated in trading, ending up with 24 gainers against 26 losers. University Press led the gainers with a 9.96 share price appreciation, closing at 2 naira 87 kobo, followed closely by Julie, which closed at 1 naira 34 kobo. Now, at the end of Thursday's trading session on the NGX, a total of 284 million volumes of shares were exchanged in 8,168 deals, corresponding to a market value of over 6 billion naira were traded. Now, let's take a look at how our select global stock are doing today. Well, it's a similar tale for global stock, which rose on Thursday as a rally in technology shares that pushed Japan's Nikkei to a new 34 high, leaving Japan's Nikkei in a bullish trade at 1.21%. Well, while the dollar steadied around 3 months peaks as investors assess the chance of when US rates might fall, leaving also the UK FTSE and US Dow Jones in the bulls at 0.53% and 0.39% as well. That's it on both business and stock market reports. Back to you, Simi, for the rest of the news.
Thank you very much, Okoyemi. And on the foreign scene, 1 person has died and 21 wounded in a shooting in Missouri at the end of the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl victory parade. Local reports say Kansas City Chiefs players were still on a stage there when the first shots rang out. Officials, however, said they treated 8 victims who were in immediately life-threatening conditions and 7 others who had suffered injuries that could provide life-threatening conditions. 9 children were among the wounded, of which all are expected to recover. Police say they have arrested 3 suspects in connection to the shooting. Well, up next is Entertainment Report on News Now.
Valentine's Day is often celebrated as a day of love, romance, and expressing affection for that special someone in our lives. This year, Nigerian celebrities rose to the occasion, making their romantic partners feel extra special on the 14th of February 2024. Actress Regina Daniels' Valentine's Day gift left her fans and followers gushing on social media as she was gifted a brand new Lexus SUV by her husband. Bankole Wellington also had his fans and followers saying "aww" over his post on the day of love to his wife Adesua. For Portable Disaster singer did not hold back in showing appreciation to not 1 but 2 of his wives on the Valentine's Day. For the newlywed, Kunle Remi intimate clips from their relationship down to the day of their court wedding were posted on his social media account. More and lots of celebrities celebrated their Valentine's Day, appreciating and celebrating their loved one.
And on sports, the latest FIFA ranking show that the Super Eagles of Nigeria are now 14 places higher following a great showing at the just concluded 2023 Africa Cup of Nations AFCON. Nigeria lost to Cote d'Ivoire in the final of the competition, concluded last week, and have deservedly climbed up the FIFA ladder after that impeccable showing. The latest move makes Super Eagles Africa's number 3 team, only behind Morocco, who are 12th, and Senegal, who rank 17th. Well, that's all on News Now. Many thanks for watching. See you next time.